Hello, I'm Jasmine Burch, and today we are going to talk about easing into travel. Traveling with kids can present a lot of challenges. Some of those challenges include unpredictability. A lot of our kids are used to patterns and routines. So when we travel, lots of unpredictable things take place, and it can throw us off, and we don't know what to expect. There's also lots of crowds when we travel. There's also perception when we travel of others that may not be used to the habits of our kids. So more eyes may be on us, making us feel uneasy or uncomfortable. The noise levels and sounds are different when we're traveling. Of course, there's wait times, downtime, where we're sitting idle and have to find ways to entertain ourselves. And then accommodations can be challenging as we are traveling. Each of the strategies that we are going to discuss today will help us to address each of these typical areas of concern. All right, the strategies we are going to go over are positive reinforcement, functional communication training, leisure activity engagement, natural environmental training and generalization, and point of view videos. First, I will discuss the strategies to develop skills that you want to work on before going on your travels. So these strategies are not something we can work on one day and then the next day we're ready to go. We're going to work on these over time. So say we're thinking we want to go on spring break next year. We want to try that. So this year we're going to work on these strategies so that we're ready by the time next spring break comes around. If your child already has some of these core skills, you can choose which areas to focus on and strengthen in preparation for your travel dates. After we go over these strategies, we will go over what to do when an undesired behavior occurs and how to work through it when traveling. And then lastly, I will share a few tips and resources to use while traveling if you aren't aware of them already. All right, our first strategy is positive reinforcement. When a behavior is followed by reinforcement, the behavior is more likely to occur in the future. The idea here is that you do not want to have to resort to punishment in order for cooperation to occur. We want to catch our children doing good things and reinforce those good behaviors. You want to practice these good behaviors at home, how to increase the behaviors that you want by reinforcing those behaviors, and you want to always continue to catch them doing those good things. So for instance, if your child is sitting nicely while traveling in the car, or waiting patiently in the grocery store line, or staying calm in a crowd of people, you want to reinforce that by giving them something that they prefer. So if they prefer praise, your attention, a toy that they love, music, anything that they enjoy, you want to provide those good things after you catch those good behaviors, the behaviors that we want to see. You do not want to provide those preferred items when undesired behavior occurs. This is differential reinforcement. If an undesired behavior will get them what they want, then they have no reason to engage in the desired behavior. You can also use motivation to your advantage. So, if my child really loves the iPad, and I know that we have a doctor's appointment in the afternoon, during the morning, I'm not going to provide that iPad because I know that that's something they really enjoy. We're going to engage in other activities, and then when we get to the doctor's appointment, now I provide that iPad. Their motivation for that iPad is higher. So they're probably more willing to sit and wait. Whereas otherwise, if they had had the iPad in the morning and now I'm still providing the iPad in the afternoon, perhaps they're not as willing to sit for that iPad because they've had it all day. So we create that motivation by not allowing them to have it at one point, and then when things get more challenging or more difficult, we provide that really exciting and preferred activity so that they're more likely to engage in the behaviors that we want to see. And remember, when you see them doing something good, you always want to let them know. And you want to let them know using behavior-specific praise. So I know a lot of times I'll see my kids doing something, maybe they have a good interaction, and in my head I think, oh, that was so great, I'm glad that they did that. But I don't vocalize it. And we have to make sure that we vocalize the good things that we see. So I can say, hey, Joe, you did such a great job, sharing with your sister. I want to say those things and let them know, and then provide something great like a hug or a tickle or a high five to let them know, hey, I see you doing great things, keep it up. All right, the next strategy we're going to talk about is functional communication training. Can your child ask for what they want appropriately? Now that you know how to utilize reinforcement, providing those good things after we see those behaviors we want to see, you want to anticipate those preferred items and activities and teach them how to ask for them. If they can ask for what they need and want, this can drastically reduce undesired behaviors. Remember, we do not want to reinforce anything other than the appropriate communication. They should only get the desired item or activity after asking appropriately so that the undesired behavior no longer works, placing this behavior on extinction. So if I'm talking on the phone and Joe really wants my attention, he starts screaming, he starts yelling because he knows typically when I'm on the phone and he starts doing that, maybe I'll hang up the phone and attend to him and whatever he may need. In this instance, I want to teach him how to ask for my attention appropriately. I want to teach him, hey, when you tap mom on the shoulder is when you get my attention. Or when you tap mom on your device, that's when you get my attention. Or maybe just coming up and holding my hand. That lets me know that you're asking for my attention, and then I give it to you. I want to teach him those things so that when I am on the phone, then he'll come up, maybe he'll hold my hand, maybe he'll tap me, and maybe he'll say mom on his device. And then I'll pause on the phone, attend to him, whatever he's asking for, and then go back to my conversation. I want to let him know that by asking for my attention appropriately, he's going to get those things that he desires. Now, on the other hand, if I'm on the phone, again, he starts screaming, crying, I'm not going to attend to that behavior. Even if I let the person on the phone know, hey, I'll call you back, I'll probably keep the phone on my ear, pretend like I'm talking to someone else so that he knows he does not get my attention just because he's yelling and screaming. I'm going to wait for him to calm down, try to remind him by extending my hand. Hey, if you hold my hand, you'll be able to get my attention. And as soon as he does one of those appropriate things, then he'll have my attention. And all of our children communicate different ways. So it could be through gestures, sign language, our AAC device, or our vocals. In the beginning, when you're teaching this training, you should always give them the desired item that they're requesting. So whether it's attention, a toy, whatever it is, if they're asking for it appropriately, you want to provide that item because that's teaching, hey, when you ask appropriately, you get what you want. And then over time, you're going to slowly increase those wait times, or maybe, no, that option is not available. Here's some other options. But we want to make sure that they know how to ask and have mastered that first. And then we start increasing those wait times. Hold on for, a few seconds before you provide that toy. And then maybe that few seconds over time increases to a minute before they get that toy so that they learn those waiting skills and knowing how, if something is unavailable, we have other options that we can engage with as well. If you're not sure how to go about functional communication training or how to navigate their device or the best way for your child to communicate with you, you can always speak to a speech therapist regarding different forms of communication and helping with prompting and navigation. The next strategy we're going to talk about is in regards to expanding leisure activities. Can your child independently entertain themselves? While traveling, it will be important for your child to be able to independently engage, whether they're in the car, a family member's house, in the airport, or anywhere else. You want to ensure that entertainment is available in a variety of ways. The wider the variety of interests, the easier to engage while traveling based on the environment. So what activities can be done at a table? Activities can be done while sitting on the floor, while they're sitting in a chair? Are there quiet activities that we can engage in? Or are the toys that we like to play with more loud? What are some safe movement activities that we can do, even if we're in a quiet space? So all these different types of activities, you want to have a variety of interests and know okay, so if I need to be quiet during this time, what kind of activities does my child like when we're in a quiet environment? Or if my child likes to move their body, if we're in a crowded space, what kind of activities can they do while still moving but safely? When your child has limited interests, try to expand on them by pairing activities together. So for instance, if they love a certain character like Spider-Man, we want to expand their interest of Spider-Man into other activities to kind of broaden their horizons. So can we do a Spider-Man memory game of different pictures of him doing different moves? Can we copy those movements and use that as a way to move our bodies? Can we bring Spider-Man into Legos? Can we do Spider-Man coloring sheets? If they love items that spin or that fall, how can we bring spinning and falling into other ways of engagement, into other activities. Like if we like spinning around, how do we feel about spinning helicopter propellers? Can we still get that same type of entertainment by seeing different things spin? You're going to want to introduce a variety of activities at home, play with them together, and then as you increase that interest at home, you're going to want to expand them to different areas. So, can you sit in the car and have them play with those different activities, or in a waiting room, are we engaging in those, and so on? All right, the next strategy is natural environment training and generalization. So, we're going to be intentional about going on community outings, purposefully going into crowded spaces, purposefully going into noisy places, purposefully going into places where we have to wait in line. When you're practicing this, you don't actually want to have to get anything done. So, for instance, if you're going to try things out in the grocery store, because that's typically a difficult place to go, you're going to want to go to the grocery store when you don't actually have to go shopping. You're going to want to arrive. You're going to go in. Even if my child can only stay in the grocery store for 10 seconds, I'm going to make sure they know how to ask, hey, I want to go for a walk, or I'm ready to go, or I need a break. We want to give them that communication, and then they're going to ask appropriately, and then we're going to do that. Hey, we've been in here for 10 seconds. They ask go on their device, and then we're out of that grocery store. It's time to leave. And that's okay. We just want them to understand that, hey, when they ask for what they need, we can provide it. And then over time, those increments are going to get longer. So first, maybe we can only stay in the grocery store for 10 seconds, but the next time we're increasing to 30, and continue to increase until we get more comfortable in these different environments. By trying these things out when you don't actually have to get things done, it helps to keep us calm. We know that, there's not, oh, I really need to get this done, and now we're frustrated or feeling uneasy. It's, no, this is what this time is for, and we can be more patient during those times. And then for a child, it can help reduce their fear and anxiety of different places because they know that they can leave when they need to. While you're on these outings, you're going to want to anticipate any needs and wants. You're going to look for precursors. You know your child better than anyone. So you know when they start rocking back and forth, or maybe they start blinking more, or whatever the case is, you know that maybe they're starting to feel uneasy or uncomfortable. When you start to see those signs, that's when you want to prompt that communication for what they may need. Do they need a squeeze or a hug? Maybe headphones for music, whatever it is they need to stay calm in that moment. Prompt that communication so that they can ask appropriately for it and then provide it for them. Any coping skills that you're going to want to use, such as deep breaths, you're going to want to practice that at home, practice in the car, and then practice, while we're out on the outings. You don't just want to practice these coping strategies after we're already feeling uncomfortable. You want to practice them when we're in a good place too. We're just sitting on the couch watching TV. Hey, let's do some deep breaths and practice it while we're in good moments so that we're ready to use those skills when things become more uncomfortable. And during this practice time, you're going to want to use all the strategies that we have talked about thus far. So you're going to want to practice that positive reinforcement. When you see them doing good things, to let them know, hey, I love how you're holding my hand and walking with me, things like that. Catch them doing those good things and encourage their use of communication. If you see them looking at something that they may want, oh, I see you're looking at that. Let me show you how to find it on your device, and then they can ask for it. Always want to use that communication, and then you're going to want to practice those leisure skills as well. Wherever you may be, what different toys, fidgets, coloring pages, different things that you've been working on expanding on at home, you're going to want to do those in different environments as well. And then, of course, you're going to want to test run at real locations. Let's say you want to plan an airport trip. Of course, you can't go through security, but if you go to the airport, go to the lobby, be around the people, the sights, the sounds, and just sit there. Are we comfortable sitting around a lot of people? The sounds of the suitcases rolling on the floor, talking about what you see, going to the homes of friends and family. Just practice being in a different environment other than the home that we're used to. Going on longer car rides. How long can we last in the car? Is a road trip possible? All right, this last strategy that we're going to talk about is point of view videos. This is Pretty similar to the natural environment training and generalization, but you get to do it in the comfort of your own home. This allows for more exposure and communication opportunities. There's videos on YouTube of people just walking around. So someone may just be walking around the airport. So you can see, the people going through the aisles, the different stores, the shops. You can hear the sounds. And you would watch this with your child and talk about the different things that you see. They can get used to the sounds. They are seeing something that they're not typically used to. So when you get to the airport, now this is familiar. I've seen this before, and it's not completely new. You're going to want to narrate while these different videos are playing. So say you're going on a long car ride and you put on a point of view video of just going on a car ride. Maybe you see mountains, clouds, cars are zooming by really fast. Whatever you see, you're going to want to talk about it. And if they're using their device, you can point those different things out on their device as well. Maybe they have a suitcase. Maybe while they're rolling through the airport in the video, you're rolling around the house with the suitcase and making it more fun, turning it into a game. These links here, I can send out this presentation to anybody who may need it. These are different links to different point of view videos specifically for the airport. With the plane takeoff video, this was a really good one. After watching it, I honestly didn't even realize the type of sounds that are occurring as a plane is taking off. So listening to things like that so that they become more familiar and it's not as scary when we're going through that for the first time. Okay, so we've talked about a few different strategies that we can work on in order to increase some of those foundational skills so that we're ready for travel. As we all know, we can prepare as much as possible, we can work on these skills, but things still happen. So next, we're going to talk about what to do when our child goes into a behavior while we are away, and really anywhere, but especially while we're traveling and in an environment that we're unfamiliar with, and how we can work through those behaviors. So this is the cycle of meltdown behavior. The first step in the cycle is the step of calm. We are engaged. We are content. This is where you're going to want to build rapport with your child. This is where you're going to teach them those new skills. You're teaching them that communication. You're teaching them coping strategies. You're expanding their play and leisure activities in this calm and regulated state. That's where all of these things are happening. So they're sitting while playing with you, they're walking with you, they're laying down with a preferred item. All of these are calm activities where we can introduce those coping skills, that communication. So the next step in the cycle is a trigger. A specific event occurs, like a loud noise, more people come around, now we're in a crowded space, we're being told no, anything like that. That usually will trigger the start of a behavior. It's during this time that we want to offer those choices and that we want to start introducing those coping skills. So if that trigger is being told no, immediately we're going to offer those choices. No, the iPad is not available right now, but you can have these stuffed animals or these monster trucks. Or got really loud and that made you nervous. Let's do those deep breaths. Let me give you a squeeze. Whatever those coping strategies are, recognize that something happened. You understand that something happened, and then start to present those coping strategies and go through it with them. Now, if we go past this step, the next step in the cycle is agitation. Now our child is distracted, they're fidgeting, they're whining. We get larger body movements, maybe vocal escalations, maybe some self-interest behavior might be starting to occur. We are visibly and physically agitated. During this time, we're going to reduce our demands, not asking them much of anything, and try to redirect. So if we're starting to, maybe we're poking at ourselves, maybe we can provide a fidget and showing them, hey, let's poke at this fidget instead. We're trying to redirect that physical agitation into something else in order to help prevent further escalation. All right, if we move past that, now we are in full meltdown. This is where we're going to see aggression, property destruction, a loss of control of our bodies. During this time, safety is the main concern. safety of yourself, safety of others, and the safety of your child. During this time, more eyes are probably on you. Try not to worry about that. All you want to do is focus on how can I keep my child and myself safe in this moment. You're going to want to leave the area if possible so that you can have privacy. You're going to try to reduce any stimuli that may be around. So if it is a loud noise, if it is flashing lights, if it is a crowd, you're going to try to remove that as much as possible. And this is not the time to teach anything. You're not trying to teach them to communicate or teach them like new strategies or try different things. Right now, we're just trying to maintain a safe space and try to stay calm and allow them to work through that moment by providing this safe space for them to do that. After the meltdown happens, there's a regrouping. Their body movements are slowing down. Maybe their breathing has slowed, but probably their heart rate is slowing as well. And as they're calming down, you want to give them space if that's what they need. Continue to not place any demands in this moment. You can narrate. Nice job calming your body down. Nice job with those slow breaths. Narrate how they're coming back down and that they're doing a good job regrouping and coming back into a good, calm space. After we regroup, this is a time where you're going to start over. You're going to slowly bring in those demands again. Maybe if we've been sitting on the floor, you can let them know, hey, we can stand up. Hey, let's go sit in the chair. Moving them into a different space, recognizing that, okay, we're good now. And once we've regained that calm, you're going to reconnect. You're going to practice that replacement behavior. You can bring back in those coping strategies, begin to offer those options for them to choose from, and different things like that once we have regained that calm. And as we have starting over, we're back into that calm of the cycle. This is where we can teach again. This is where we can practice those coping strategies and re-engage with preferred items. All right, some precautions. When you're traveling, you of course want to consider any medical concerns that may pop up. I know specifically when it comes to the airplane, congestion is a big one. Motion sickness, any physical disorientation. You definitely want to consult a medical professional in regards to any concerns that may arise while you are traveling, depending on what type of travel that you are doing. You're also going to want to notify any applicable staff. So specifically, like on an airplane, there's a flight attendant and you know there's a certain behavior that your child might engage in, give them a heads up. Let them know, hey, if my child does this, can you please do XYZ? Can you please create space? Can you please come and assist in whatever way you need? Just give them the heads up so that they're prepared in case something happens. And then, of course, you always want to have duplicates. You never know what's going to happen. If that iPad is really preferred and they wear headphones, but then those headphones end up snapping in a behavior, we want to have another pair of headphones to make sure that they can re-engage in that preferred activity. So always try to keep duplicates and backups just in case something happens or a toy gets left behind. All right, and some travel tips. Specifically in Phoenix, there is a compassion corner. It's a quieter space where you can wait, and there's people there to support you as well. And then going through TSA Cares assistance, you don't have to go through the machines in the same way that everybody else does. There would be someone to kind of walk you through that process in a more slow manner so that it's not so hectic when going through security as well. So while you're traveling and you're looking at different places to go, you also want to try to avoid peak times. So say you're going to a museum or different things like that. If you type in the museum on Google and look in the Google Maps area, usually you can see which times there's like more crowds and which times there's less traffic there. So try to pick times when there's less people to make things easier for everyone. You can also look for places that have sensory-friendly environments. There's even movie theaters and things like that where there's times for a more sensory-friendly watch. And then you want to look into any systems that will make travel easier for you. This CARES harness is one that you can use while you're on the airplane so that you don't, like if your child is younger, you don't have to bring a big car seat onto the plane with you. When you're using devices like this, definitely try them at home first, like in your own car, or even in your living room, so that your child can get used to having them on, or whatever other materials that you think would be great for traveling. Use them before you actually travel so that your child is used to it first, and then you'll be ready to go once your travel dates are there. All right, here are some references and resources. One resource that I will point out down at the bottom where it says Wings for Autism in Phoenix, there's different airports that do it as well. This is a time where a group of parents can bring their children with autism and go through the entire airport and have that airport experience. Definitely check out that website to see what dates may be coming up, because that would be a great opportunity to explore the airport as well. Thank you.